Hello on the planet and beyond. I am Sade, the founder of Between Here and There, a Thrive based consulting business surrounding global hygiene and applications of information technology. We define global hygiene as the cleanliness and the health of the planet. Okay, so we left off our map reading segment on longitude, the latitude and longitude portion of map reading. We left off on longitude. Okay, so we're going to pick back up, going to give you some information about distances and also how to locate a specific geocord. So it is 2023 0808 here at 1611 on the East Coast of the United States. Okay, so lines of longitude are different based on where you are on the globe. So as these lines of longitude start from the Arctic or start from the Antarctic and they travel through the equator to the other side, the lines closer to the Arctic or the Antarctic are closer together. Those distances are close. As you move to the equator, as you see the curvature of the planet, as you get closer to the equator, the lines of longitude, the distance is further apart. Okay, so depending on where you are, it's going to get you a closer point or a point that's further away. And so with lines of longitude, 1 degree is equal to 54.6 miles. 1 minute is 0.19 miles. And 1 second is 80 feet. Okay. So when you're looking at a grid, at a geocord, it is divided into degrees, minutes, and seconds. And that's getting you closer to the location. So if you have a geocord, the first portion is the latitude, the second portion is longitude. If it's only four numbers total, two for lat and two for longitude, you're only getting the degrees of that location. If you have more information, it's giving you the it's getting past the degrees, the minutes, and the seconds. Okay, and so that's giving you a more accurate location for whatever you're doing or whatever you're using that geocord for, that location for. For lines of latitude, it is the exact same throughout the entire globe. The distances are exactly the same. So for 1 degree, it's 69 miles of separation. For 1 minute, it's 1.5 miles, so we're getting even closer. And then 1 second is 101 feet, 101 feet, okay? So when you're getting locations on a map, think rise over run. So the rise is your x-axis, which is your latitude. So moving up and down. So you're rising, okay? And your longitude is your run. So you're either running east or west. So here for a grid coordinate. Ooh. So if I'm looking at Johannesburg here in South Africa, my rise would be, say, 20, 25, 26, 27 in this area. And the run is going to be the geocord that's to the left of that point. That's your run, okay? Because when you're identifying your run, it needs to be within a grid square, or it's going to be on a grid square or on the line. So when you look over, Johannesburg is located here. I'm looking to my left for my run, and I'm going to trace this line to the top to identify where it is, and that's 20, okay? So 20 here, right? And so it's not directly on the 20. So I'm going in further minutes, right? In between these lines, and I'm dividing it. So between each is 10 degrees. So I'm dividing this grid square east to west into tens. And that's going to give me even more specific, and I'm going to see where that lands. So because this is 20, I divided this grid square into tens. You can start to count out 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So you're going to see that it's like 27, 28. So this is about 26, 28. So 26 degrees south, because it's south of the equator, and you're going to get 27 degrees east, okay, because it's going in that direction, okay, from your 0 point, okay, which is located in Greenwich, England. That's what we previously, I believe I previously discussed that on the first video, okay. So that's getting you your geochord, okay? I'm going to probably put some exercises towards the end of this so you can apply it and see if it all is digestible, okay? So now that we have latitude and longitude, there are some other things to think about with maps, okay? So there are different types of maps that we like to call like overlays or layers. So you can have a street map that's going to give you your streets, other modes of transportation like trains, if there's specific roads for industrial purposes or private roads, those are going to be on your road maps. In which I have some road maps here because I'm a firm believer that yes, we're moving forward in the technology age, but we also need to know how to use these tools in the event we do not have an energy source available to charge that phone, or we don't have connectivity or things of that nature. And I suggest that for a road trip, these maps to be placed under the passenger seat, glove compartment, okay, but under the seat, having all the materials needed to be a proper navigator, because that is what the passenger does. The passenger is really there to navigate and to look out for things along the route. And so I have this Road Atlas 2022, and then I have this Road Atlas 2018. And so I just keep these in my vehicle. In the event that something goes haywire, at least I'm going to get back to the nearest city, town that I'm familiar with to get myself to a safe location. And with road maps here in Illinois, with every map you're going to have a key, okay? And so the key is usually going to have this information. It's going to have the title of the map, like the location, or what specifically are you looking at. So the key is to key you in on specific details of that map. Some of it comes with colors to identify man-made roads, private roads, bodies of water, and things of the sort. Okay, so here on this map, you're getting zoned in areas of major cities. Okay, so these major cities, being able to maneuver through them, of course, in a city you're not going to be able to get all of the details because there's so much land to cover. However, if you look to your scale, and your scale is going to let you know the distances indicated on this specific map. So you can use that as a ruler. I like to have like an index card or the sort. So like, say this business card is like an index card. I use this, and I'll use the distance key, which is here. Okay, so determining distances along roads for this specific map. It has highway distances, segments of 1 mile or less not shown. Cumulative miles, the distance between red arrows. Intermediate miles, black, the distance between intersections and places. And then you also have interchanges and exit numbers. For most states, the mileage between interchanges may be determined by subtracting one number from another. Okay, so when you use your card, I always suggest the first marker that you do is going to be your key. Okay, so you know if I make if I line this up with the key, I make a notch. I know every time I line up from this end to that notch, it's going to be exactly 30 miles. Okay, so anytime I put this on my map, like so, I know the distance from here to here is going to be 30 miles. And from there, it's going to key me in and alert me that, okay, I'm approaching my target. I'm getting closer. So once I'm getting about 6 miles to, I'm going to recalibrate and identify, are we still on the right track? Am I going in the right direction? Are we getting closer to that location? Okay. So also with the key, there's going to be different symbols used to simplify the map, because symbols are our greatest tool to display information in less words and less time. So for example, there's plains and there's trees. So these trees are identified as like wildlife areas. You can see that little tree there. Okay, wildlife area. And then the plains. There's one here. Okay, so that's going to key you in on where these airports are. And of course, there's private and public airports. So then you have your how that area is divided, right? So you got your country, state, city, town, or village. And most maps are going to identify the largest font as the largest square footage, okay? So your largest word on a map is going to be that country. So like for this one, for example, so here you have China, okay? So that is in a large font. And then when you go into these smaller areas like Tibet, Vietnam, okay, Pakistan, those are in a smaller font, okay? Then when you get even smaller, like into the city, like Kabul being the capital of Afghanistan, that's when you're getting closer into the city, towns, and villages. Okay, so latitude, longitude, rise over run, the distances between those lines of latitude, those lines of longitude, longitude lines being different based on where you are on the planet, your 0 degree point being at Greenwich for longitude, your 0 degree being on the equator, which is basically half of the planet divided into the north and southern hemisphere. So that's why you have degrees north or south, okay? So from south of the equator, south, north of the equator, north, and country, city, states, country, state, city, excuse me, village or town. I think that will be it as far as covering this piece. There is more of a design training that I'm going to do, but I want to get out this free training because everyone should have these skills, okay? Period, point blank. There's no discussion. Everyone should know as a human being on this planet, you should be able to know how to maneuver and where you are, okay? So I think in the next piece, I'll get into talking about a compass and how to use that magnetic north, map north, grid north, okay? Thank you for your time and drop a comment below.